Hey guys, what's going on? It's Wednesday, it's 8:47. I'm joined by Hodo, I'm joined by Massive, I'm being yelled at by Silent. I'm probably angering the admin somewhere, so that means it's the nest. How you guys all doing? Hodo, Silent, how you guys doing?
Hello,
Not Silent, I
everyone.
said Massive. Oh.
I'm
Massive, how you
pretty
doing?
good. I'm pretty good.
NA host right there, folks.
Oh,
NA
nah.
host.
Yeah. Alright, and
100%.
in case you haven't noticed, in the bottom, is that, I hope I'm pointing the right way. No, I don't think.
The
This
other way,
way?
press. Yeah, we go.
You guys get the point. We have Empress joining us, the coach of Boosted. By the way, Empress, how you doing?
I'm doing great, thank you very much.
That is incredible to hear. So we will be interviewing Empress in a few minutes, but first, as per usual, let's go ahead and take a look at last week's predictions. So last week we had a slew of matches that came our way, and all of them were plenty interesting to watch. So let's go ahead and see how our casters fared. Hodo and Massive went 100% had 100% of their matches correct, which was pretty insane. While Love didn't fare out too well, only getting 2/3 of them, mispredicting the Bot Camp 15-16 match, the Burn Wisdom OW match, and I believe those were the only ones he mispredicted, if I'm not
Yeah,
mistaken. Yep. All
yeah,
right.
yeah. He put faith in Girardi in that burn match.
Uh,
No,
just
no.
never put faith in Burn, guys. Trust me, they'll always let you down. Love you guys.
Toxic host. Someone get
Alrighty.
Noelle in here for the next interview.
I should definitely bring on the Burn guys and just have them roast me for a whole episode of the Nest. Alrighty, well for day 2, Love turned the tides around, had 100% of them correct, while Hodo and Massive didn't fare so well. While all of them predicted yes to win, which has not quite happened yet, the, this is misentered actually. Expandable Academy took a 4-0, got 4-0'd by Furious Unicorns. I can vouch. I'm a unicorn.
Yeah.
I'm not that mean, but well, I'm mean to Burn. Close enough. um, we then had all of our casters taking Wisdom OW over Power Naps, which, if I'm not mistaken, is happening right now. The Furious Unicorns match against the Megs is yet to happen as well, but all of our casters were correct, taking Boosted, by the way, who took the 4-0 win over Older Watch. Burn barely scraped by with a win over 15-16, winning it 2-1, but luckily all our casters were right. Ghost Peppers also barely scraped by with a win against Chinese Takeout Academy with a 3-2 win. And finally, the two new teams on the scene battled it out, Gold Gang and Bot Camp, and Gold Gang reigned supreme, and only Love predicted that. Pretty surprising. So, of course,
Yeah.
majors, a lot of upsets, but also a lot of matches, not upsets, but surprises, I should say, with how close some of these matches were. But a lot of matches still do need to take place, and we'll be able to see, probably get a little better view on that next week. So let's go ahead now and take a look at our minors schedule. So, for the first time in, I think, history, Massive got a minors match wrong.
This is my first. It's my second time.
No, it gets better than that, boys. It gets better. He mispredicted his own team.
Yeah, this is true. It's my first time coming on this thing after losing a match. We did lose 3-2 against Quantum Charge. Quantum Charge came out to play. It was a fantastic match. It was a tough fight. But no, we did lose that. It's my second time getting it wrong though. I did when Flashpoint was last beaten by TBA, I believe it was. By Quantum Charge. When they were beaten by Quantum Charge. None of us predicted that either.
I mean, Quantum Charge, they're just insane. I mean, they've beat TBA, they've beat Flashpoint, they beat Otter Oxide, and we'll be able to hear more about that later from Remember, their head coach. So yeah, we'll have that coming out in just a bit, but let's keep talking about this. So all of our casters predicted all the other matches right, except for the surprising upset by Quantum Charge. However, on the second day of minors, both Love, nope, I can't English. English is just a hard language, guys, all right? It's not like I've spoken it all however long I've lived. Massive and Hodo both predicted all their matches correctly, while Love had some misplaced faith in TBA as they did lose 4-0 to Flashpoint. And of course, our Echo 6 Greyhound Solar match is taking place right now. Can I
9
get
o'clock.
confirmation? 9 o'clock it is taking place. So in
Mhm.
8 minutes, don't leave. We're better. Yeah. End of
I
story.
do have one thing to say on the Flashpoint TBA. If you remember from last week, Hodo did say that that was a mistake to keep Flashpoint in there as his prediction. He fully wanted to retract that and put TBA as the winner. So
Yeah, but-
really, I should be the one here.
Okay.
I
Calm
did
down
have
there,
not
man.
that much faith in Flashpoint, but they renewed my faith last night because I called them. I called that match against TBA last night, and they absolutely looked fantastic. So I don't know if something like got lit under them, or the meta change, and the edits in the patch really helped them out, because they laid a pretty good butt whooping on. It was pretty good.
Yeah. Definitely very thing to see. But of course, slew of matches, all of them incredibly close, incredibly interesting to watch. I don't I don't really want to say we had any major upsets other than the Quantum Charge Otter Oxide game. Um and we'll talk about that in a little bit. But first, let's talk to our guest of honor here, Empress. You're the
Guest
head
of
coach.
honor.
Yes, our
Wow.
guest of honor. No pressure or anything. But if you mess up, then you're gonna get flamed by Twitch chat.
I get flamed by most of my team every day, so it's not
I
new.
feel that. I feel that. Oh, that's a great copy pasta, guys. Quantum Charge is really looking up right now. You guys can put that copy pasta when Remember gets here. Make one for Empress though. Anyways, so Empress, you're the coach of Boosted. By the way, number one team in Owlet. They're 17-0, which is absolutely crazy. What do you guys do to prepare for your matches? Do the like common 1 hour scrim before them? Do you just do FFAs? What is it? How do you prepare?
Before I answer your question, I'm just gonna give a quick shout out to my girl Nameless. I also coach Rain Check. We're participating in the GGNA tournament, and unfortunately, I don't have a face cam. So the wonderful penguin that you see on your screen right there was created by her, and you can hit her up on Discord if you want a
Some work
customized
of art.
icon.
Work of
Nameless.
art.
Uh, Hashtag 0128 is her Discord, and she's super talented. Anyway, let's get back to your question. To prepare, we don't really do anything special. I'm gonna be honest here. We, sometimes schedule scrims. We're trying to take a very more laid back approach, I would say. Still having fun with the game, and I don't want to say we're not trying. We definitely are, but we win or lose. I want my players' focus to be on self improvement rather than winning. Winning is a byproduct of everything coming together and working well. So that's not the main focus for my players. At least that's what I tell them. I don't know if they actually listen to me. Hopefully they do. But yeah.
Wow, what a diplomatic answer. Um,
Sorry,
I want a
it
bit more
wasn't juicy enough.
spice. A bit more spice. But all right. So that's definitely good to know. You don't really focus too much on the hardcore practice, but more it's enjoy yourself, improve, etc.
Yeah,
Uh,
pretty much. I don't want I know that a lot of my players were on I think what stage no season 1 Outlet, and I was
mhm.
really really afraid for the burnout just because it's so many matches, and if you have scrims on top of that, it's really 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 intense, and a lot of people have their own lives, they have school, they have work, school and work, so I think burnout definitely contributes to poor performance.
I feel
So
yeah.
yeah.
And I mean, you guys had an all-star lineup, right? You have Lokai, who was considered one of the best hit skins last season. Delicious and Flamey
Theater.
of MSXL. Okay, Hodo. Okay. Okay. I agree. I mean, what?
Lokai is being called out here, boys and girls.
But so how'd you guys come together? Because you weren't a drafted team, you were a pre-made team coming into this. I'm sure that would stuff oh wow, that's a lot of big names. You should probably take them back. So how'd you guys come together?
So, if I'm not mistaken, I was brought on after the team came together, but it was basically Lokai's idea, and he was like, uh, "I love you guys. You guys want to form a team?" Like he said this to a bunch of his friends, and I guess some people said yes, some people said no, and pretty much, bam, Boosted by the Way was born. and I didn't get pulled in until I want to say like late November, early December.
So
Um,
so a few weeks before preseason.
yeah, a few weeks before preseason. And the only reason I was, I think, brought in was because I was like a sort of an acquaintance at that point of the team. And they were like, hey, we could use an assistant coach. And I'm like, well, never really coached a full team before. I've done like personal coaching and like for
Mhm.
support and off tanks. But yeah, and now here we are, like 3 months later, one big happy family.
One big happy family. Now, I do have another question, and then Hodo and Massive, you can feel free to ask yours.
Sure.
Boosted, by the way, I feel like their most iconic thing, other than being undefeated, is their, I want to say, reluctance to run goats. And not to flame them at all, right? But when we played you guys, I'm on Fierce Unicorns, obviously. I feel like when we were able to force you guys onto that goats composition, you seemed a lot weaker and less prepared. Is that because you don't practice it? And if so, why don't you practice it? What do you have against goats?
Uh, we don't practice goats because I think that goats requires an immense amount of team coordination. So, okay, how much detail do you guys want me to get into on this?
As much detail as you're willing to give that
Yes,
won't hurt
please
your
elaborate
team
because I'm actually interested in seeing
or
that.
will hurt your team. I
Yeah.
mean, we're probably going to play you guys in playoffs at some point, so if you want to hurt them, I'm not against
Well,
that.
I mean, with the goats meta dying, I don't really, I don't really force maybe not dying, but I definitely think it is a hell of a lot weaker. So, goats, this is my opinion, so anybody can take this with a grain of salt. Requires a lot of coordination. And your Rhine is the main, I don't want to say shot caller because there are some main tanks who are not so shot caller, but I would say he is the focal point. He is the backbone of your team, and everybody should play around him. Now, you have like a lot of, you see like in Owl, like how coordinated these other teams are. And it's like a rubber band in the front. You have the Ryan, Zarya, and Diva, right? You have they sort of play around him and they always go back to him. They might like go farther away, but then they always back to him. They rubber band back to the Reinhardt in like a team that's like even for like a pre-made team, but especially for like a drafted team, you basically have 6 players who are playing goats, and they're playing like 6 solo queue ladder players playing goats, which just doesn't work in a goats composition. And in a goats comp, you basically need to rally around one person, that person being your Reinhardt. Um, so like it's just really, really difficult to have everyone like play around one person because your mentality, like it's a lot of us are just, on ladder, we're all doing our own thing, and like it's just not like always aware where your Ryan is, always playing around your Ryan. So I feel like even though we do have pretty good synergy as a group, I felt like that like we had sub synergies within the groups that are much, much stronger. And as a coach, I wanted to capitalize that. So every comp, every strategy that I designed is to play around my team's strengths. And because I feel like we have star performers, star players who are just immensely talented and skilled at what they do, I truly feel like Goats just wasn't, it didn't allow them to shine. So like I wanted them, to improve like as players, improve on what they already are good at and pick up a few things along the way, as opposed to imposing a comp on them just because it is the meta. And I wanted to also prove that I think that individual skill does it plays a large part in, these matches. And just because Goats is the meta and Goats, wins you games and Goats is brain dead, quote unquote. I think that individual skill, excellent planning, excellent execution will trump a sort of predefined meta any day of the week. So that's my personal opinion on it.
All right, that's fair. And I definitely, I mean, hey, clearly it's working for you guys.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
It's undefeated now.
All right,
So
so Hodo Massive, any questions?
I
I
have one.
Mouse, if you want to go first, I'll take.
Okay, yeah, sure. We'll go with that. So I recently was the producer for your guys' game against I believe it was Gold Gang,
Mhm.
where Lulkai did end up leaving the match for almost half an entire map, and you guys still almost rolled 5v6. What as a coach, like, what's going through your head on when your team is winning in a 5v6, and what did you do to prepare them to win in that kind of situation?
Well, so Lokai is definitely one of our star players, but because we have so many good players, like I said, they just are so individually talented. Like, do we need Lokai? Absolutely, sorry, absolutely. Um, but we like, yes, my bad, absolutely. Um, we basically it requires even greater amount of planning for when we are down 5 versus 6. I think Lokai was actually he ate something that didn't agree with him and literally said to me, I feel like I'm going to puke. And so he just like did as best as he could and just like left to basically spend some time in the bathroom. But
He actually
anyways,
had this Jonex stomach boom there. He's still
yeah,
able to pop off and still
yeah,
survive.
yeah.
If you guys
So
don't
like
understand the meme, I'm sure Reddit has you covered.
anyways, to finish the answer, it's basically like more planning and playing around like our lack. So like I said, all our players are really really skilled and talented, and if we do need to have a player like sit out, and Lokai does play a lot of the maps, we have other strengths that we can capitalize on. We actually played a match yesterday, I want to say, that was versus older watch and delicious our main tank was actually having computer issues, and he disconnected and he got the blue screen of death. So we played a map that was 5 versus 6, and then we actually had to do without him for most of the match. We had our usual main tank, Panda Bear Kev, step in and take over Reinhardt duties. So yeah, it was hard fought, but it was, I'm really, really proud of them. So, yeah.
Right.
I don't know if was that
No, that was
okay?
good.
Do
I
you
was
want
like,
more
yeah,
That
I'll
was
details?
take
a
it.
That
detailed
was good.
answer.
Yeah, full-fledged answer. And this is going to be, I think, the last question because you guys are 17-0. So you haven't lost a match in stage 1 and haven't lost a match in stage 2. I've been in a similar situation where I coached a team where we were undefeated all the way to the finals and then ended up losing. So you almost had an instance of losing when you were playing Prez's team where it goes
Mhm.
all the way to 5
Almost.
and yeah, almost, but Prez no, not able to finish over the finish line there. So, but was that was that situation something that was very helpful for you guys, or was that just a blip? Thinking like a middle table team coming in, deciding, hey, maybe they can take over, they can beat you
I'm just
guys,
getting
or
trash talked here.
or was that one of those things in which, like, as a coach, you sort of take a look at that and we're like, we needed that. We needed that sort of scare to make sure that everybody's still grounded and focused for the rest of the tournament going into the playoffs here.
I think any loss is going to be a learning experience, and especially a match that was so close is like it's one of the great sort of learning experiences that a team can sort of grow from. But I will say that for that particular match against Furious Unicorns, our main tank that we usually run on practically all the maps was actually on a well deserved vacation to Asia. So, and then we also brought in Rax, who was not able to play in stage 1. So I think when you have
Mm.
two, like, you have one variable, you throw it into the mix, it just like the team just is like, okay, like maybe we can deal with the one variable, like whether it's a new player, we're switching things up, or like, just a new comp, like that's fine. But in this case, because we didn't have Panberg Kev play, and then we also had Rax play, who we didn't have a lot of time to actually scrim with him to build
Mhm.
any synergy. There was just like a lot of different variables going on. So I like just wanted them to play the best that they could. We do have a game plan for every single one of our matches, but like we weren't able to really practice it, and that's okay. Like we definitely learned from it, and it was good on Furious Unicorns for taking us to such a close game. I think at the end of it, one of my players was telling me that their hands were shaking so badly because they were so nervous because it was like it was so close, and you guys did amazing. You really did.
Oh, you're making Prez blush. Look at that.
All
So,
right.
Better
but
than the look of
Empress.
shame he normally has on stream.
Now then,
Yeah,
I
actually,
do.
Presses. Oh, you look a little speechless.
I'm honored. But now I know Silent Marine, our wonderful producer, has a question, and that is, and I quote, with the new patch, has that changed how your teams build their compositions? Many are calling this patch the Goats Killer. Would you agree? And before you answer that question, Abyssal also had a question. Are you picking your nose right now and hiding it behind the fact that you don't have a face cam?
That is. I'm gonna answer Abyssal's question first. So I don't have a face cam, but I actually I don't really like pick my nose. And part of the reason is because my nose is very small. And so like my fingers are actually like larger than my nostril. I know this is just like a really random like FYI like about Empress, but yeah, like so it's uncomfortable if I did have to pick my nose. I'm just saying because my nose is very small. But it is such like thank you for the very personal interest that you displayed, Abyssal. I really appreciate that. Anyways, back to Silent Marine's question.
The patch.
So, yeah, I think you know what? Like, what finally is going to kill goats is the fact it's a Lucio nerf. So, triple tank, triple support has been around. Like, I think it was Ninjas in Pajamas that like first started this sort of triple tank, triple support meta
It was
all the way
Ghost.
back.
Yeah,
Oh,
they
you
went
mean?
all the way. They
Oh,
went
are you talking? Are
quadra
we
hop,
talking
dude.
season 3 Roadhog Cook Across the World meta?
Yes, like all the way back in like the first 5
Mhm.
seasons, like Ninjas in Pajamas before Owl even started.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
now like and then it evolved into, goats, the beloved goats that we know today. And but throughout like what makes this comp triple tank support comp work and part of it is basically your tanks are your primary damage dealers. So how do you close that gap between your backline between like where you are and like onto them, whether it's their backline, their front line, however they're playing? It's the Lucio. The Lucio speed boost, the aggressiveness to engage and then disengage without losing your tanks is so powerful. And I've been testing like the new patch out and Lucio feels awful. Yeah, his wall riding got a buff, but that's I don't want to say it's only applicable to Reddit Lucios. It's, like you should certainly be like wall riding and things like that, but it doesn't feel good. So I think if anything like that would probably might be the nail in the coffin. Maybe we'll still see it run. Who knows? Baptiste is an interesting hero. Um, I actually think that this patch is good because it will play to our strengths, in which it is basically making the our 222 comps like shine even more. So I am actually really excited. And I feel like a lot of the top teams in Owlet majors are not necessarily goats teams. There are some that are, but like I know GP when I casted their match, Ghost Peppers, they have a very interesting triple DPS like Hammond.
Yes.
Yeah, it is so fun to watch. It was oh my god, I think Chaos's Hammond is actually really great.
Definitely.
So, yeah, I think
Uh,
it's going to yeah, I'm really excited to see what meta changes, but hopefully it might be the end of Goach, which if it is, yay. But if it isn't, I think it's going to allow room for different kinds of comps, really interesting ones to come forth.
Alrighty. Well, thank you so much for Empress for answering all of our questions. It's great to have a better insight into how Boosted has been practicing and playing, etc. Now speaking of Boosted, let's take a look at the major standings. I mean, they're number one in those, and so let's go ahead and take a look. Alrighty. So Boosted, by the way, of course, is leading the charge with a perfect record, while Ghost Peppers follows behind at 15-2. There, then I'm just gonna read down the line. I can't. All right, it goes Boosted, Ghost Peppers, yes, Megs, Burn, Wisdom, Bot Camp with an asterisk, Furious Unicorns, Power Naps, Older Watch, Gold Gang, Chinese Takeout Academy, 15-16, Team Removed, VMT, and Expandable Academy. of those teams, 7 out of our current top 8 have clinched a playoff spot, with Botcamp being the only exception because of how late they came into this tournament. So that puts really a big race between PowerNaps and Olderwatch to see who exactly is going to be able to take that final slot in the playoffs. Because if we're looking at this, Chinese Takeout Academy and VMT, yes, they have a chance at it, but realistically, they're just too far, right? I mean, Hodo,
Yeah.
you think they
Yeah,
have
I
any
mean,
hope?
I have a chance to get run over by a bus, but that's like, few and far between, honestly. So it's like, yeah, they still can make it. The weird part about it is that PowerNaps is at 6-9. So they're only 15 matches in with 18 to Older Watch. So PowerNap's got to be careful. They don't lose. They need to win a couple more matches to ensure that they get that lead over
I
Older
think they have to
Watch.
win 3 to clinch, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, they need to win 3, and they have to make it all up in the next week. So Older Watch still got a chance there. So they, going into, if they can win their next 2 matches, Power Naps has to do really, really well. So because there's only 2 matches left for Older Watch, right? Because it'll
Yeah.
be 20 matches. Yep.
And while I know we don't have the schedule on screen, I just want to let you guys know they do have a pretty interesting schedule, I'll say. Last week they were going up against Older Watch themselves, and Wisdom OW, which we've seen is a pretty decent team. And then week 5 they're going up against Burn, and they're going up against 15-16. So it's really these are kind of matches that can go either way. That PowerNaps just has to win. So we could see Older Watch just maybe pull on ahead because of that tough schedule.
Yeah, they've got to be super, super careful. If they can get a win out of that Burn match, that's going to be huge. Because
Definitely, I
then
agree.
they could use that win very definitely. So, all
Mhm.
right.
Alrighty, so those were our major standings. Let's go ahead and take a look at our minors standing. So with minors, nearly all the top 6 teams have clinched a playoff spot, with Flashpoint, Otter Oxide, TBA, Expandable Odyssey, and Quantum Charge leading the charge. I hate myself too. However, Blazing Pegasus is still desperately fighting for that playoff spot, but they've yet to win a match this stage. And then we have Echo 6 and Greyhound Solar, who are also in the hunt, while Penten, Viserion, and Licorice Whip have been eliminated. Licorice Whip still 0-18. Come on, guys. 2 more matches.
Is
Bless.
BP and Echo 6 really that close? I mean, is it basic? Is
Yeah,
that
I
right?
mean, Blazing Pegasus just
I
hasn't
think
won.
X6 has 1 match behind on that still
Yeah.
currently, but yeah.
If they can
And
win, they'll jump
I
them.
think so. I think if
Yeah.
Echo 6 wins the match going on right now, they jump them. If Greyhound Solar wins this match right now, it's going to be really interesting to watch, because that'll put both Echo 6 and Greyhound Solar at 6 and 12. And because of just how weak Blazing Pegasus has seemed, it's going to be just a race to see who has the tougher or easier schedule, really.
Yeah, that's going to be sort of insane to sort of see. Looks like, oh, there we go. Massive's back. But I didn't think it was actually this close. Massive can speak to this a lot better, but it's all to play for. That Echo 6 Greyhound Solar match is huge. I didn't realize that.
Definitely. It's like
yeah.
this is make or break for the bottom of the minors playoffs. But speaking of playoffs, let's go ahead and take a look at what the minors bracket or minors playoff bracket would look like if the season ended today. So if the season ended today, and of course, Massive, you can give us a bit more in-depth analysis, we would have TBA playing Blazing Pegasus and Expandable Odyssey playing Quantum Charge, and the winner of those matches would go on to face Flashpoint and Otter Oxide respectively. Massive. If the season ended today, who do you see being victorious in all of these?
So looking at TBA versus Blazing Pegasus, TBA is the easy winner there. Blazing, they've been having a seriously rough stage. There's little chance they have a time there. Quantum Charge versus Expandable, that's the more interesting one. Quantum Charge are having a fantastic stage. But Expandable, they're the only team who has beaten them, and that's a 4-0 that they beat them with. So
Was
Expo
it an
might
off
actually
day?
take that.
It was
Sorry?
was that an off day though? I called that match, and I
It
was
could be. It very
absolutely
well could be just
surprised
an off day.
how good Expandable was.
We,
And
we,
it was
we will have Maribor in here later, so we can talk to him about that one. And then between Flashpoint and Otters, I actually wouldn't be too surprised if we see it coming down to, I gotta give myself my team the win. I gotta give it to the Otters. I have to go Otters versus TBA.
I'm just saying,
or
you gave
Otters
yourself
versus
the win
Flatline.
against Quantum Charge, and we all saw
Yeah.
how that went.
Look, we tried running exclusively Goats for the first time into probably what is now the highest ranked Goats team, and that was a mistake. We won't make that mistake again.
Alrighty then. Well, thank you for that lovely insight. And now let's go ahead and take a look at what the Majors playoff bracket would look like if the season ended today. So for the Majors, we'd have Boost, by the way, taking on the 8th seed Power Naps because, of course, Bot Camp is ineligible and Power Naps currently is in that 9th spot. We would then have the Megs versus Burn, Yes versus Wisdom, and Ghost Peppers versus Furious Unicorns. Hodo, I'll take the top half and you take the bottom.
You got it.
All right, so if I'm gonna look at this, I've got to take Boosted. I mean, they're going to the semis, and I've got to take Burn. You know, as much as I trash talk them for being bad, because they are, I think that they are more consistent than the Megs. I think the Megs, they run these unique comps, but if you really just like watch a couple of odds of them, you can get a good idea of what they run and how to counter it. I think it's really just understand your enemy, and you'll be able to beat them. I feel like that's something that not a lot of people do is like watch these VODs like, hey, Team X likes to run May a lot. Let's run a pharmacy against that, right? And that's something that's really important. So I think Burn and Boost are going to go on to the semis. And I think Boost is going to stomp Burn because Burn's bad, easy clap, and Boost is going to go on the grand finals.
Well, on the bottom side of the bracket, Ghost Peppers has a tricky matchup against the Unicorns. They have not looked fantastic. I
Now,
guess
reminder, Ghost Peppers
yeah.
beat us 3-1.
They did beat you 3-1, but they haven't looked fantastic. Last week, when you have to take 5 maps to beat Chinese Takeout Academy, Ghost Peppers, who are the number 2 seed in this Majors division, should have done better than that. So WC and Connor got to lay the smackdown a little bit on the Peppers. Maybe they're having a little bit of teamwork issues, just to make sure. But you can see them coming through, going into the semifinals. But then they meet up with Yes, who look absolutely fantastic this stage, who actually beat the Peppers early on and have a good possibility to make it into the grand finals. That's a toss-up in my book. Peppers will be looking for a rematch win because that honestly should have gone 5, in my opinion. But I'm not going to know who's going to win that match. I think it'll be somebody.
You have to say it right now. Yes or Ghost Peppers. Come on. Let's hear it.
If I had to say today, I'd say yes.
All right. So our theoretical
pitch.
grand finals would be Yes versus Boosted. I've got to take Boosted in that. Hodo, massive.
Boosted. But, we have an interesting guest also.
We do indeed have an interesting guest to talk to. But before we do that, let's go ahead. And our next guest is going to be Lulu of Team Yes. But speaking of Team Yes, let's go ahead and take a look at a little hype video that Noah, aka Widow Only, made for them.
The draft. Lulu has selected, not really a surprise if you watch the showcase, Key with a SR of 3066 on that DPS.
We've seen them in pugs. We've seen them get picked up so often for those games. It's gonna be Laser Blitz that will be joining Key on the hit scan DPS.
We have a Lulu picking up Ochre. Oh, am I saying that right? Ochre.
And it's going to be testing. 1, 2, 3, coming in with the main tank, off tank.
Chosen Steiner, 3K SR, main support, off support player. Steiner, I think, played during the final round of the Majors draft. Lulu has chosen Paper Sore, 2937 SR, main tank.
Juniper trying his best to just sort of hang on the payload, but he's going to get killed as it looks like La Technica is going to get sent into the well. That's going to do it. And yes, with an epic hold here of Blackjack Gaming on the first corner. Graviton will catch the members of the Peppers here. As a bomb gets sent in, will it get anybody? No, it will get Chaos though with the fire strike. And now it is Yes, who look very, very good here as they're trying their best to set into the back here. Oh, and a great boop, and back go the rest of the members here of the Ghost Peppers. Great combo there, getting sent into the air.
Blade coming in, no defensible to cut it out. And I'm going to tell you right now, I don't think I've seen a more commanding duo in Owlet than Widow Only and Laser Blitz.
And not going to be able to stop it. Yes, are going to take a 2-0 lead here.
On here to a 0.2 and
away like a lot of teams tend to do when they see a Graviton.
And they pick up the 3-1 and the +2. Congratulations to them. They defeat the Ghost Peppers here on Hollywood.
Yo, not gonna lie, I got like chills watching that. And also, Massive, I'm just saying, we heard my voice. We heard my voice. We heard Hoda's voice. Where was your voice?
Yeah, actually, I've never casted Yes. They're one of the only, I think, one of the few major teams that I haven't had any production involvement with. So, no, maybe when we get to the playoffs here, I'm gonna have a chance to cast you guys. But we are now joined by our guest. It looks like.
Yes, Lulu. How are you doing? You're the head coach for Team Yes, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, hold up.
Yes.
I cry every time after that video. Like thank God I don't have a webcam because I'm like tearing up. This shit just like. Wait, can I curse on this?
No.
No.
Oh, I am so damn sorry.
We're a Disney XD stream here.
Disney acquired Fox. That's all I care about.
Oh, gee. But like, if we don't have the best like overall team, we sure have the best overall video content maker in Noah.
Noah is a pretty great content maker, although I think Siagoli would be willing to fight him for that. Now, Lulu, Yes was a drafted team, as we very clearly saw. What was it like having to put a team together and then have them practice having no pre-existing synergy at all?
Oh man. So like the day before the draft, I compiled like I just had like a blank Google Doc and then I had to look up everyone who came to the tryouts the week before and then like had to rely on my notes which seemed okay and then I had like a list of probably like 8 or 10 people I had in mind and luckily I got the first 6 people I wanted so
Nice,
but
nice. Good to see I wasn't on that list.
I tried.
Um,
Did you even try out for us?
I did.
Well, like, wait, with Recurion?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, that sucks. I'll pick you up for season 4. Don't worry.
Season 4. Oh, I don't even get to season 3,
Alright.
guys. Nope. Season 4.
It's
Already
shoved all the way out.
Yeah,
Well,
sorry.
hold on.
I
I know
mean,
you-
like, there's so many good like diamond players and plat players. Like, it was hard to choose.
You're
you
right.
know?
I'm a gold player though, so problem solved.
Wait a minute. Wait, doesn't that put you in minors?
You can
I
opt
was
to
plat
play in
last
majors.
season.
Yeah, you can
I
play in
just-
majors no matter the SR. There's no SR. There's no SR minimum, so you can opt
People
to
just
play
don't play
in
good
majors
comp.
if you want.
Oh
fine.
boy, this is.
Awkward.
Yeah, this is the coach of Yes.
Awkward.
Great social
Alright,
skills as always.
Now, Hodo, I know you had some questions for Lulu.
Yeah, because I've casted your team multiple times because I do a lot of majors games. So I want to go back to March 9th, which was the Ghost Peppers game.
Right.
So in that game, you guys sort of took them to the woodshed a little bit. That was not an easy game at all for the Peppers. You end up winning 3-1.
Mhm.
Laser Blitz and Widow Only were absolutely fantastic. Just take me through the preparation of that particular game. Was there a plan, or was that one of those things in which you guys were just going to be like, all right, we're just going to do this and we're just going to sort of play it out and we know we can sort of give it to them as best we can and come out with a win?
I mean, we generally have like a basic idea for every one of our matches, regardless of who we face, but we usually try to also scout the other team's hero pool just to see if they pull off like anything kind of strange that we need to be mentally prepared for.
Hmm.
But I mean, we don't really factor in like what are these hand motions?
Empress realizes he's muted
Yeah.
and is still on camera.
Yeah.
What are these hits? I'm so confused right now. Like, these are like some next level mind games, but really, like, I gotta give credit to Oker especially because
Mhm.
he like works his ass off. He's out there every day like watching VODs and just doing most of the scouting.
Yeah. So, like, you guys, I think, are I want to say, the most dangerous team in the major side because I think that the momentum that you've sort of gained through stage two, it has been very, very sort of good in the sense that you are a team to be reckoned with in this stage. Every sort of team that you've come up with, you've had a really good matchup. I think I don't know, you haven't lost a game in this stage, but the
We
patch just came.
have
You lost one. Okay.
I think we've lost twice, like very early in the stage.
In the early in stage. Okay.
Yeah.
So, but the patch change just comes in with a whole bunch of, let's say, improvements for the DPS. So, how are you guys prepping for the playoffs, knowing that this patch change is going to sort of change play a lot here going into the playoffs here in the Majors division?
So in scrims, we're kind of throwing shit at a wall sometimes. Oh, I'm sorry, we're throwing poop at the wall. So
Maybe Marember won't curse. We
we're
can always hope.
I mean, sorry, that's just I curse in front of the kids a lot. Oh, I should clarify, the kids are yes, playing,
Yes,
but
$1 in the swear jar every time.
One map loss every time.
but I mean, most of the concepts I've coached the team were intentionally made vague so that like when like a new meta would roll around, it wouldn't totally like discombobulate us and kind of change like our thinking entirely.
Mm. So,
But
I take it you're more of a sort of would you consider yourself more of a sort of a technical coach where you work with each of the individual players? Are you more of like a strategizing coach? Or are you more like an emotional coach trying to make sure that your team is on an even keel and just you trust their individual skills and sort of Overwatch sense to sort of follow the way a sort of a game goes with a basic concept that you give them into every match? What do you think your style is
oh
as a
god, I'm
coach
reading
overall?
chat. I'm getting grilled by my own team, but I really think I oh my god, testing. But I really think I do kind of like a bit of the three. Like I used to do individual tutoring in another server for Overwatch, so I carry some of what I learned then, and
Mhm.
I just try to use all my past experience being on teams, like coaching people individually, and just try to apply that to my team.
Oh my gosh,
Because
your
I've been,
team is so toxic.
yeah, I mean,
Lulu coaches like my dad, still at the store.
Oh, that's just me.
I'll use, I guess,
Lulu, are you being abused by your team? This is a safe place. So
uh,
if
Live
your
on
team,
air.
live
yes.
on air in front of a lot of people. I mean, we just kind of get on each other. Like we kind of developed like kind of a, well, how do I put
It's like
this?
how I flame burn.
I don't know what that means. I'm sorry.
How I flame
So I
team
would say
burn.
like a
Oh,
a good
team
Love
burn.
hate.
Oh
camaraderie.
yeah, I got
Yeah,
you.
yeah. So a good camaraderie, would that
Yeah,
describe your team? Hmm.
we just kind of rib at each other, and then I mean, I wouldn't mistake that for like being too lax, I suppose, because once it's game time, we tend to try to focus a lot, just
Hmm.
keep our minds in gear. So I think
Well,
we have a good balance between like the seriousness and the fun part of Overwatch.
well,
Uh,
final question for you.
okay.
So the last question is as a coach, who do you want to hit in the tournament? Is there a matchup or a team that you think would be really preferable for you, or but is there a team that you would rather not see in the playoffs? So pick two teams, one you would want to make sure you see, and one that you don't want to see.
Oh boy. So I'll answer the
I'll give-
second part first, because
Okay.
I'll just say for the second part, we just don't want to face anyone who makes us play on West Coast servers, because all of our players are East Coast. and I feel
Interesting.
like we got some talent that kinda don't like it when like the environment gets a little shaken up.
So no 100 plus pings for people. Is that what
Yeah,
you're saying?
we don't have the funding for a LAN center or any of that kind of stuff quite yet.
So on the other question then is, which team would you feel most comfortable with to play against, knowing that you could ensure yourself a win in the tournament? So if you had to play one team in the opening round,
That's
based
a
on the,
mean question.
it is a mean question, and I want you to call
I don't.
somebody out.
I really. I don't. I mean, like, I'll be
Embrace the
like,
toxicity.
I'll
honestly,
only be completely offended if you say Furious Unicorns. Don't worry.
honestly, like, we'll just take whoever's in front of us. Like, we just like playing as a team, and I mean, we're not scared of anybody. Like, we try. It's kind of that motto of like respect all, fear none.
Yeah.
We're just here to
All
play our
right.
game, and let's see what you guys do. You know.
Yep.
Very diplomatic answer. Very good.
Very
Not to offend
diplomatic
I mean, I
answer.
think I think it's the honest one. Like, I mean, you play tournaments like face the best, so.
Oh, I know. We're just trying to spice things up here. Massive, you got any questions here for Lulu?
Not a whole lot. Just like is there anything really different you guys are going to be doing coming into playoffs here, knowing that you're going to be coming off against teams at a high, people are going to be at a higher level coming in, ready to play off.
Well, I think that depends on kind of whose point of view you look at, because I think around like 2 weeks ago, it felt like no one knew who we were. Like, people were just saying like all these weird things about us, like we were goats only, and like all this weird stuff, and like how we were. I think one of you guys said like we were just kind of there for you guys. We
I think that
didn't
was
like
me.
do any fireworks or that kind of stuff. But
Look, sometimes you just need to be that team that's just consistent. You don't make any big splashes. Then you come in and you're underestimated.
I
Well,
mean, sleep. I mean, if you want to sleep on this, go ahead. Like, I'm not gonna. I'm only gonna
Well,
worry
that
about how my team's doing, and like if we play our game, like I'll be proud of them regardless of the result, really.
yeah, that Peppers match really put you guys up on the forefront, though, because I think a lot of people were surprised at how well you did against them
Hmm.
and made you a team to be feared. So it's like, uh, sometimes you just, one thing can just sort of all of a sudden you're there in the background and everybody just saying, oh, it's the fourth place team. And now you're saying, everybody's now saying, oh, they're the fourth place team.
Hey, we're actually third
Different.
now.
Third now. Yeah, look at
Yeah,
that. Exactly.
we're
Climbing up the
still
chart.
being talked down to.
So, all right. So, Prez, any final questions for Mr. Lulu?
Yeah. Lulu. Obviously, we did not play you this stage, sadly.
Wait, I thought we did.
Wait, we did?
Prez has been Prez brain
Let me
damaged
check.
with all the defeats.
Okay.
That explains the hand.
We took boosted to a map 5. No one's done that, so shut up.
I mean, you gotta.
And Licorice Whip got
I'll
2
flex
maps
what I
earlier this week.
can.
Yeah.
No, we never played you.
What?
We've never played. Well, not this stage. Last stage maybe. We didn't play this stage.
I'm trying to go through the
So my
match.
question for you is, unobjectively or objectively,
Objectively.
if we were to play you, what would the map score be?
I'm
4-0
actually
is a
thinking
perfectly
about it.
acceptable answer here because
No,
Furious
no,
Unicorns
like,
are not that
Just
great.
say it. Just say it. You know you want to.
We all know what you want to say.
Say.
I mean, if you guys, I mean, we're gonna assume the bracket's like set already, right?
Yeah. Well.
For the most
Yeah.
part.
Yeah,
I mean,
the
if you guys
bracket's-
beat boosted, then I can't really. It's gonna be hard to predict. If you guys beat boosted, then it could be like 3-1, 3-2 us. So
All right.
I mean, you guys got a
Oh,
I'll
chance.
take
if
it.
that
I'll take
happened.
it.
Like,
You're so nice.
Yeah, I mean,
I mean,
I would
he's
have us
top
losing
top.
4-0, but okay.
Like, I mean, that's
All
just some
right.
faith. Like, I poured my heart and soul out for these kids, and
And they end up trash talking you in Twitch chat.
Yeah, that's to be expected.
Yeah, yeah.
I
I
think
mean,
that's
Alright.
just
things
the
I
life
said
of a
to
coach
them.
for esports in general is just to get BM'd by your own team.
Easy. All right. Well, thank you, Lulu, for that wonderful interview. Very insightful to see how Yes is working, what they're doing to prepare for playoffs, etc. And so now let's go ahead and look at our Week 5 predictions by Massive and Hodo. Alrighty then. So with the actually, yeah, good point. Let's do the leaderboard. So as we can very clearly see, Massive leads the charge with an nearly 82% correct overall. Hodo nearly 74, Love 71, Gazer at 52, and Girardi at 43. Massive just knows everything. I swear.
Look,
Um.
I just play it safe. That I do my job and I do nothing more than that. That's what I come here to do. Unless you put me on Lucio.
Alrighty then. But yeah, let's go ahead and take a look at our Week 5 Day 1 schedule for the Majors division. So for the Day 1 of Majors, we have Ghost Peppers versus Older Watch where Hodo. That's some interesting faith.
Yeah, that is a mistake on my part.
Yeah, I remember seeing that this morning when we were all putting in these, and I'm just trying to wrap my head around why is Hodo picking Older Watch here? Who knows? They may just be a resident sleeper team. They just might be coming out and just
Massive,
completely
can you
wiping
check
Ghost
my
Peppers.
picks? Are you sure that like that?
No, I saw that this morning and I was confused by it.
Yeah.
Alrighty
So,
then.
okay. Yeah. Okay. All right. I'll go with Older Watch.
Apparently. Now,
Yeah.
Hodo and Massive are split in the Older Watch CTA matchup. Massive. Why is Chinese Takeout Academy winning it?
Look, they just pushed Ghost Peppers to a 3-2 in a match not too long ago. So they are, you guys might be sleeping a little bit on CTA. I fully expect that they'll take that match here.
Alrighty. Now, of course, they're agreed on everything else, taking all the playoff teams to win it, except for 15-16 and Gold Gang, who neither are playoff hopeful. But yeah, you guys are taking 15-16 to win it over Gold Gang, so that's interesting to note for sure. So now let's go ahead and look at the Day 2 matchups. We have the Megs taking on Chinese Takeout Academy, and both our casters are predicting the Megs to take the win there. In fact, they're predicting all the same things for Power Naps beating 15-16, Boosted beating Burn, VMT beating Expandable, Ghost Peppers beating Wisdom, and Furious Unicorns beating Bot Camp. Yo, can we appreciate this? This is the first time everyone on the Nest has had faith in the Unicorns.
Well, yeah, but you're going up against Bot Camp, so.
Shut up! Alrighty, now let's go ahead and take a look at our Miners Day 1 schedule. You guys really don't like to debate, apparently, as you just use Control-C, Control-V. You guys have Pen 10 Viserion beating Greyhound Solar, Echo 6 losing to Quantum Charge, Licorice Whip getting their first win over Blazing Pegasus, Expandable Odyssey beating Flashpoint, and Otter Oxide beating TBA. Tell me, why do you think Licorice Whip is going to take their first win of the season?
To be honest, when you're looking at the new Blazing Pegasus, they're just not all there right now. It's a completely new stage, a new team coming into a new stage. They weren't prepared for most of this stage. They haven't won a single match yet. They've lost every single match pretty decisively. And Licorice Whip is actually they've been picking up a little bit. They were actually able to take 2 maps against Greyhound Solar and push that to a map 5. So I fully expect that they could be able to take this if they just focus up and get in there.
Yeah, Licorice Whip looking like the little engine that could right now because slowly but surely they're woo, dude, getting up that hill. So eventually, I think they're just going to go go up that hill. They're going to crest a little bit at Blazing Pegasus, and then they're just going to go over it because I think that 3-2 that they had against Greyhound Solar was them taking it to 5. Is the first time they've ever gone to 5 maps. I don't think that was the first time they won ever 2 maps in a match. So you can see the improvement slowly but surely. So I'm going with Licorice Whip.
Alrighty, now let's go ahead and take a look at our Day 2 schedule. we have Greyhound, Solar, and Licorice Whip playing, where despite your faith in them beating Blazing Pegasus, you do not believe they can beat Greyhound Solar. You then both agree that Expandable Odyssey will beat Pentem Viserion, and that Flashpoint will beat Blazing Pegasus. And oh, okay. So on your screen it says that you both predict TBA to beat Quantum Charge, but here, Massive, you took Quantum Charge over TBA. Which one was it?
I picked Quantum Charge here.
You're taking Quantum Charge. What is it? Is your pride hurt? They beat you, so they have to beat TBA.
You know what? No, Quantum Charge. I've played this team more than I've played any other team in Owlet because I played them as the Steamrollers in a previous tournament. So these guys, I'm not gonna sleep on them anymore. Slept on them a little bit coming up into this last match. That was a mistake. I paid for it. And you know what? I think they can take on TBA here again and win again here.
Yeah, no, TBA though, coming off a tough loss off a Flashpoint, they're gonna want to rebound, and they don't want to go 0-2 in the next matches, like going into the playoffs. So TBA is gonna be up for this match. This is gonna be a really good minors match to figure out, like, does TBA still have a chance there going for the top, going for one of the 2 seeds available? Tough, but Quantum Charge has the momentum. So we'll talk to Marember here in a second. And we'll figure out
Definitely.
what he thinks about this match.
And then, of course, just to end off our day 2, Otter Oxide, you both have beating Echo 6. But now, we were talking about Quantum Charge right there so much, so let's give a warm welcome to Marember, the head coach of Quantum Charge, the team that just gets upsets everywhere they go. I mean, you upset Flashpoint, you upset Otter Oxide. I feel like you upset another team I can't remember the name of. So how are you doing, Marember?
I'm doing good. How are you guys?
I'm doing
Yeah,
great.
a little sore still, but
A little
Yeah. Massive here has a lot of questions, trying to figure out how the hell to beat him.
Yeah.
I fully know why. No, so let's just go ahead and start off. Quantum Charge, you guys are having a fantastic stage, only losing once to Expandable Odyssey. So how are you guys feeling right now? Like, what's mentality down in the camp?
I mean, personally, I know everybody's very, very confident at the moment, but I always have to bring them down. Especially my main tank. His name's Ice Tea Drink. Oof, that kid oozes confidence. Even when we were 4 and 6, like all he would do is say that we were gonna 4-0 everybody.
Yeah, I mean, when we're talking like last stage, you guys did have a bit of a rougher stage. I think you were undefeated up until week 2 or 3, until you guys played Otter the first time. I guess the third time at that point. Which again, we played you guys 4 times. You guys are consistently been close each game. I think it's been a team that's been kind of slept on over here in the minors in terms of being talked about, but. You guys are just a really consistent, I wouldn't say consistent, but you guys been really just consistently be able to push it to close matches anytime you guys play here. So my first major question is, over these times that I've played you guys, you've done a lot of goats, at least from what I've noticed. So when we're looking at this new patch coming in, how do you think that's gonna affect your team going into these next few weeks with the changes to especially the sports?
It's actually funny. You said it earlier that we were probably the GOATS giants in minors, but I actually think our GOATS is pretty. We make a lot of individual mistakes that cost us, and in my opinion, our dive is 10 times better, like completely much better. So as far as having DPS coming into the meta more, I think our players are ready for it.
Love it. Love to hear that. So let's talk about playoffs. At this point, it's almost impossible that you guys will be playing anyone but Expandable Odyssey in the quarterfinals. They are the only team so far to take you down with a 4-0 in this stage. How are you guys feeling going in against them again? Are you guys gonna go for that redemption arc here and try to take it back and make your way to the semis and face either Otter Oxide or Flashpoint?
Speaking about redemption arc, that's actually what we called this stage, where we said, you know what, we have the redemption arcs. This is stage 2. This is our stage, and then we lost to Expandable Odyssey, and it's like fate said that we were gonna face them first round in playoffs. It was foretold by the gods, so we want to get our payback.
Awesome.
But, yeah. Obviously, you gotta be a little bit realistic. They are a really, really good team.
Yes.
My players are completely confident that they can beat them. I think it's going to be a super close match because I think Expendable Odyssey is probably one of the best teams, in my opinion.
Again, one of those teams that I think when people have been talking about miners, it's been a lot of Otter Oxide, TBA, and Flashpoint, and Expo and Quantum Charge are these two teams that I think I'm kind of disappointed you guys are playing each other, because I think if you guys weren't playing each other, there's a chance we could see you guys both being the finals match. So this
Okay.
really. So you guys are fantastic, and I want to see that. Let's talk about your semifinals there. So if you were to beat Expandable, you'd be playing either Flashpoint or Otter Oxide. The choice between those two teams is a one map difference. Which team would you rather go up against?
All right.
Ha!
So I personally think Flashpoint is the stronger team, in my opinion. But because of the way the format is, I want to face Otters in the finals. So I want to face Flashpoint first, and then have the you know like the match between Otters and Steamrollers, now Quantum Charge, that we always have.
Yeah. We got to keep that rivalry going. It's been a long stand between Owlet and the GG Overwatch Arena tournament, which I think being able to play you guys again, it was you guys have improved a lot as a team. I think right now that means we are even in our total record between the two teams. We're 2-2.
Yeah, 2-2.
And it's been fantastic. It's fantastic to see you guys improve as much as you have. The most important question that I know everyone in the chat is really wondering: what was it like to fight a tiger with your bare hands?
All right, listen. Ready? Me and this tiger, we were boys, right? And then he comes out the cut and he's like, "Yo, your mom doesn't love you." And I'm just like, "What you mean my mom doesn't love me?" And I was like, "Boy, you better chill out before I wipe the floor with you. You better." I'm fucking. Oh my bad.
Every coach so far.
We were so close. So close.
But yeah, so I told this dude, I was like, "Yo, I'm gonna drop you like 52 pickup, boy." And then I had to do what I had to do.
You know what? No, that's totally respectable here. So that's gonna be like a lot of the questions I have coming for me for Quantum Charge. Again, you guys have been putting on a show of a stage, and just like I think no one expected you guys to have quite the comeback you did this stage. You know, coming from a negative record to a playoff contender here. Prez and Hodo, anything you guys have for Marenberg here?
Yeah, I just want to remember, what do you guys do to prepare? Do you do VOD reviews like we heard Lulu does? Do you do a lot of scrims? Do you just what do you do to prepare?
So I guess we can just like go into the how Quantum Charges run. I know me personally, I'm the head coach, but I'm also primarily the tank coach. We also have two other coaches where in Caius, who's the support coach, and Jackson, who's not an official coach. He's actually on Ghost Peppers, and he's the DPS coach. So we do a lot of individual VOD reviews. So to get everybody, mechanically there to actually play the game. But for the most part, we scrim like twice a week, and then we play our two matches, and that's basically it.
All right.
So my question is what do you guys, or are you planning anything special with the patch changes coming in? Like any changes to what you guys are doing right now, or do you think that with the patch changes and you do what you're doing and it's actually helping you more? So I don't know, are there any more characters that you plan to incorporate? Do you have like possibly a Genji player or something that is itching to come out with now maybe possibly goats being over, or do you think that there are not going to be that many sort of comp changes coming through for QC going into the playoffs?
Well, I think that's just like a meta type of thing. I think goats is still gonna be very prominent, and other comps that we might run will definitely be map dependent. I know you said Genji, Source, who's one of our players. We basically picked him up for his Genji. His Genji is actually insane.
That's why I
But
asked. Yeah. So.
yeah.
And then made him play Brig.
Yeah, we made him play Brig. But other than that, I mean, I think Soldier is in a really, really good place now, so we might be seeing a lot more Soldier.
Very, very.
Interesting.
That's right. Anybody on the stream there, trying to get you as much juice as possible out there.
Well, look, I've been taking notes this entire time. I'm getting ready for that finals match.
Yeah, okay.
Alrighty then. Well, thank you so much, Remember. And now, real quick, we have a long list of shouts to give, so let's see if I can get it right. All right. So thank you, Hodo Massive, of course, for being my co-host today. Thank you, Silent, for producing and making the brackets. Thank you, I always butcher this name,
Areshkagal.
Areshkagal, for making the standings. Thank you. Oh shoot! Thank you, Empress. Thank you, Lulu. Thank you, Marember, for all being on the nest. Thank you, Drangus. I don't think I've ever given him a shout out, but thank you for this lovely background we have. Thank you, Dyer, for actually giving us the stream key this week and pushing some premiere back of the other match. And did I hit everything? I think I did. All right, so thank you, everyone. Thank you to you viewers for watching this. But wait, we're not done. We still have one last thing, and that is thank you to... Oh, wait, no. Thank you, Widow Only, for making the Yes Hype montage. And thank you, Sia Goalie, for making the week 2 of Nest and week 4 of Owlet montage. So, I hope you guys all did enjoy. Make sure to stay around for this montage, and we'll see you guys next week. Bye.
Oh my gosh. He got 3 with mines? 4 with mines? You got a cab though. I'm trying to get grab here.
Running. Empress is back onto that Widowmaker. So he's going to get the better of Brother Dig as well as Luxury Yacht. Merge really opening up this point here. Adam's going to be taken down.
Why are we still here? Just to suffer every night.
I'm done today. I'm done. Can't do it. Listen. We shouldn't rush that. I have no health.
Very low, but does take out Sequoia before getting out and heals up. So with Merge taking down Nunso Vile, that's 4 members down now. And with just the tanks infesting the point for as long as they can, Merge has even come over the point. Frontline Widowmaker in action, and takes to take down CD, and that's going to be the first point capture going to Bird.
That was a beautiful move by Edith.
Spy checking. They're going to rotate through Connector. I like this as well. It's not going to allow for the opportunities that they had before. They're going to have a much better defensive positioning. A nice EMP shatter comes out from Merge and Edix, and that's just going to wipe the ground with Exandable there. No chance going to that old combo.
I mean, goats have to play together. That's their strength. That's all their weakness. So that's why Sombra is absolutely just disgusting.
Spock, you're insane.
Honestly. I got it. I got it. Yeah, look.
Oh. I was searching the bridge with.
Sorry, on me.
Sorry, one.
Lucio's on car.
I need help.
On Lucio.
Got res. I'm in a brush.
You was right behind?
So big.
Sorry.
Sorry, no personal. She has no personal.
Sombra behind.
Who are we after? Get Zarya? I'm Zarya. There's Sombra behind her.
You know, even if they do get point A, there's going to be a large chunk of time that's removed from this clock.
Well, this is it. This is going to have to be it. Mayhow in position and some
no ones.
Oh, that's so rough. They're all super low. The Blade doing some good work. The shield just splitting them up.
She got down. Bloodlust got the best of her as Eli 56 got down Tomiko, so 2-person advantage here as they go into overtime. Coalescence here, keeping the rest of the team alive, but a huge Ana grenade here. Gonna send the bomb in, gonna blow everybody up. Sin City, only person left there in the back. John Belushi trying to sort of hold it off. Overtime push here as Tomiko gets slapped, trying to EMP, not gonna be able to do so, gets killed. Eli clearly finishes them off, and oh, they had it. They just gave it up.
There comes the Shatter on the side, but the Sound Barrier on the side of Wisdom will keep a lot of people topped up, but there comes the counter Sound Barrier.
Oh, but they ate both! They ate both ults! Are you kidding me?
The grab in the mail!
Oh my god!
But your team can do more damage, because when you pin them away, Zarya can't shoot at them, D.Va can't shoot at them, Brig can't shoot at them. You just jump on the edge.
Oh my god, please.
Go.
On right.
They're inside, they're
Focus right, focus right. On the right. They grab. They bomb.
Yay! Oh my god.
Target. Run.
Kill Brush. Kill
behind
Brush. Nice. Mercy, kill Mercy.
On the Mercy.
Widowmaker's still main.
Drop the point.
They beat.
Nice try. Oh, monkey. I'm back now.
I have to tire. Tiring.
Keep mouse monkey.
Is Zarya left? Alright. Probably should not use that.
React, D.Va react. D.Va's one behind, D.Va's half.
On the D.Va.
I'm getting react now.
On the D.Va.
On the D.Va. D.Va, no, I'm sorry. Sorry, no ball.
Ball.
Get on ball, stay on ball. Stay on ball.
Right.
Get him, Rain. No ball. Nice.
Oh my god,
Nice.
good job, guys.
I'm gonna rally in the EMPs.
Yeah.
Alright,
Rally
ready? 3, 2, 1, speed boost onto him.
Go.
On the right.
Right behind.
Ryan one. Ryan down. Okay, Zarya left side.
Sorry.
There's one.
Zarya low. Zarya no personal.
D.Va hacked.
Zarya down.
D.Va's low, he's low.
Okay, on the D.Va. Hey,
Brig's low.
Brig down. Okay, I have shatter. Push up left side.
I have beat too.
Ryan's in, get Ryan. Nice. Give the...
That's like they were listening to us. Hack the Ryan made.
Ooh, yeah, hack the ride and then kind of go ham, right?
Huge tired.
Anti onto Mihab Ryan.
Big slam!
Remove all of the shielding that we would have expected from that rally as soon as that rally got popped. And Siri DG just going in and getting very aggressive. Gonna get punished for it, but that's okay when you've got a reservoir.